talking about a transition here, we are mainly talking about the transformation in the automotive industry. This is at least twofold. So first, the products are going to change. Second, the processes are going to change. And this has started some years ago. And this is something our cluster organization is very deeply involved in, since our big car makers, the OEMs, they know what they're doing, they know how to do it. The smaller companies do not, and this is why we as a regional development organization and as an organization running clusters have worked on possibilities to overcome those obstacles. One thing is the matter of ESG, of regulations. Second one is the big field of digitalization of the industry. There again, we're speaking about the product itself, which is of not so much importance for us because we are servicing mainly the SMEs, and our SMEs are involved in other parts of the automobile. So this means that we are talking about processes, and there we're talking about artificial intelligence, talking about automation. We are talking about all kinds of aspects in digitalization, and those are very important fields in which we started to work in. And here we always have to think about different aspects, different angles. So when we talk about national or EU level policy making, there's very clever ideas coming from there. But our task is to, let's say, operationalize them, to get them into smaller pieces that we can then use to really support our companies. And that's the main issues when we talk about transition. It's both the green transition and it's the digital transition. We have to organize a fuel switch between compressed gas that we are using right now, natural gas, and the use of hydrogen, which we're going to use in the future. This is something we are deeply involved in, and this is something where we really support our companies, because this reorganization of their processes when it comes to heating systems. I'm talking about industrial heating, not about the normal central heating in a building. When we're talking about this is something we are deeply involved in. The companies need that, and there again there are chances or opportunities for those companies to develop new markets, and this is something we are really keen on continuing, because our companies do really love that. We have started, when we're talking about those transition processes, only a few years back, and we had this COVID pandemic in between, so we haven't finished yet. By no means could we say that. So we are halfway through, perhaps we have covered 1/3 of the way, so there's not too much to be seen. But what we can see is that our companies, which are taking part in our different programs and our different projects, are doing quite okay, whereas some others which are not taking part in it do struggle a bit more. So it seems that we have a positive impact. So I cannot tell you about the current transition, but we did several similar things like 8 to 10 years ago. And we had to learn, after we have taught our companies how to implement strategic management, that they were much better off during the pandemic, because they had a new set of, let's say, of tools they could implement, they could use when it came to overcome the uncertainties that we had to face during the pandemic. So teaching companies, supporting companies when it comes to strategic management really worked out very, very well. We got that response, and we are pretty confident that now we're going to have the same kind of results with our transition processes, even though they are going to take a much longer time. So when we're talking about impact, I think we should have this interview again like in 2 to 5 years from now. While our unique selling proposition is, of course, that we understand our member companies. So many clusters are focusing on innovation alone, which is something we are not that strong in. And that's a field that we understand, that we know to play in, but that's not our core competency. Our core competency is really to understand how corporate development should be organized, has to be organized, how new products have to be developed, and to implement those processes. We know about our companies many different aspects, many details, and we're using those details to benefit our companies. So we're asking our companies, what are you interested in? What are your pains? What are your problems? Where can we help you? We get answers, and this answer is, if you want to say so in new words, is our business intelligence. And we're using that to support our companies in a way that we try to really go deep into those pain points and to help our companies to overcome them. So our unique selling proposition would be that we know our customers, we know our clients, we know their needs, and whenever possible, we are applying for grants to set up projects, to set up programs, to really overcome those obstacles we have identified before.